Well, let's cross live now to the Syrian-Jordan border to Amman and catch up with Danila Zizi, who's country director for Syria response at the Humanity and Inclusion charity. Danila, appreciate your time this morning. Give us a sense then of the past few days and what it's been like for you and colleagues where you are. Have you been very worried at the numbers of Syrians in Jordan now trying to return to their old homes and livelihoods?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that it was quite a few hectic days, definitely unexpected turn of events when it comes to Syria. From our side, we have been closely following all location. HR has been in the Syrian response since 2012, providing humanitarian aid to various areas of Syria, and our team readiness to operate hasn't changed also, despite the challenging circumstances. So we have continued to provide especially rehabilitation services, early rehab to injured people. Obviously, needless to say that the hospitals were flooded and overwhelmed by the number of injuries due to the front lines that have been created in the past days. Yet again, the sense is I believe that is still a kind of we are suspended, waiting and see what will be next. The advance to Damascus was quite fast. Also, the number of fights were relatively contained to a certain extent. So we will have to see how and when there will be a transitional government, and that hopefully will meet the expectation of the Syrians. Our concerns remain on the great movement of people inside Syria, so displaced population that is willing, naturally, I would say, to return to their houses, but also the refugees that have expressed their intention to return to Syria. We know that Syria is one of the highest contaminated place on earth when it comes to remnants of war. And therefore, there is, from our side, great concern of this movement of people inside the territory of Syria.
Yeah, indeed. And the difficulties, the violence really goes on, doesn't it? I mean, we're just hearing that there have been over 300 Israeli airstrikes on Syrian territory as well, that from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. We're hearing that the military incursion by Israel, it's now nearing Damascus itself. So are you concerned then, just going on from what you were saying there, at a humanitarian crisis unfolding? You know, when these people get back home, what will they need most to survive in terms of hard cash and aid?
At this point of time, we are in a situation in which the health sector are fundamentally collapsed. You have hospitals that, at the best scenario, they are partially functioning for two reasons. First of all, because there was the initial wave of medics and health personnel that were displaced due to the conflict, strikes that were happening in the north, but also the uncertainty of the overall context. So there is a shortage of personnel, but there is also uncertainty on the safety of movements inside Syria for personnel to reach out to their place of work. So this is definitely a point of concern, because the hospitals are not were close to be able to sustain the influx of people, and that could consistently increase due to the shelling that we have seen in the past, yesterday mostly, from the Israeli side. So what we need at this point of time is to restore services to the population, for the population to be able to reach out to basic services inside Syria. And that includes health, includes also livelihood. Bakeries and all of that are slowly resuming services, but we are nowhere near what is needed. So the first initial humanitarian response would need to concentrate in restoring services for the population and allow the population to access them in a safer manner. So that implies that we needed to uphold to the principle of protection of civilians that are accessing services, but also to the protection of aid workers that are providing services and health care personnel.
Really good to get the latest from you, Danila Zizi. We wish you and your colleagues all the best in the difficulties that are clearly going to be coming down the track in the coming days and weeks. Danila Zizi, their country director for Syria response at the Humanity and Inclusion charity.